Well, hello, D&D friends, and welcome to Holy Rollerz Descent into Avernus, episode 10. We are the D&D show about a divine fellowship of clerics and paladins that descended into the hells to rescue the city of Elturel. The twin missions entrusted to them by the gods are: 1, to find a way to break the chains dragging Elturel into Avernus, and 2, to find a way to destroy the solar incendiators, the wicked artifacts keeping multiple cities bound to the hellish plains. Holy Rollerz is a 9-person stream with 2 parties switching off every week, the Chainbreakers and the Sword Hunters. Let's introduce our Sword Hunter cast for tonight, starting with Tommy.
Hi, I'm Tommy. I play Odelia Almaran, who is a priestess of Moiris, the water goddess. She is a cleric and also a wee bit barbarian.
John, you're muted, buddy.
I noticed that right as I started speaking.
But you know what? Your lips were moving in such an evocative, dramatic way. I was still captivated.
That's good. I'm John. I'm a guy who forgets to unmute. I play Thora Mikitas, a druid of Finhafara, queen and mother of all earth. He's making
I'm
fun.
just kidding.
He is mocking you.
I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm JT. I play Anduriel. He is a warlock cleric, warlock to the Piper, and cleric of Nalok, who is the god of death and shadow and vengeance and just anger and growling.
And this is what happens when you lock JT up alone with his kids for a week. There will be more mocking, I imagine, from everyone here tonight. Moving on.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan. I play Lachlan Dulay, who is the Bard Paladin of Sindel, goddess of love, beauty, and truth. And he's also the voice of the Hallowed Council.
Yes, he is. And the youngest member of the Hallowed Council as well. At a strapping, 18?
Oh, he's not the youngest.
Isn't he?
Sabella's the youngest.
Oh, that's true. That's true. The little girl who was accidentally included in the ritual is all of 9 years old. So that is very true. And I am Sage of Sorcery, also known as Matt. I'm your humble dungeon master. I also play Sister Fadavere on the other stream. And we have a very fun episode for you tonight. So we are excited to share that with you. So we'll jump into a little recap now. Last time on our Sword Hunter stream, Lachlan Dulay was falling to his doom in the skies over Fort Knucklebones. While desperately hoping to ignore the effects of Newton's first law with a minor teleport power, Lachlan was visited mid-air by Malkatia, Saint Malkatia, the demigoddess of dangerous liaisons, giving Lachlan the idea to use his channel divinity power to tap into Thora's connection to the gods of nature. The Bardadin was saved by a whirlwind. In exchange, the patron of reckless love asked Lachlan to take a dangerous risk by trying to woo Mad Maggie and to steal something from her to boot in the process of wooing. So we'll see if he obeys that commandment. The last time Lachlan disobeyed a commandment from a demigoddess, it didn't go too well. He wound up with some nasty what he would consider facial deformities that he was very upset about. Maybe if he doesn't obey this time, he'll get a hump on his back. Who knows? Meanwhile, below, Anduriel, Odelia, and Thora laid utter waste to a group of madcaps and redcaps, sealing their deal with the imps Pins and Needles, who wanted the madcap Wazik dead because they had picked a fight with him and provoked him, and he was going to kill them. So there we leave it at the end of that combat, having laid waste to all of those madcaps and also having fulfilled their first infernal contract. Although it could be argued that given that they did not kill everyone who assisted the madcap Wazik in that combat, that they are in breach of combat with the imps. Therefore, it remains to be seen whether the imps will feel that they have the need to carry out their contract, which they were going to do by putting in a good word for the Divine Fellowship with Mad Maggie, who is the ruler or the warlord running Fort Knucklebones. And that is where we begin. So you lay utter waste to them. The battle is over, and the Kenku, who had participated in the battle, that was an engineer, you opted to let him live, and he went running. and you are left there with a just messy pile of absolute madcap, redcap. I mean, there's water everywhere. There's squishy, I mean, little bug carcasses from all of Thora's multiple transformations, and all in one great big pile because Odelia dropped them all together with her channel divinity power. There's even one madcap whose body is horribly deformed and crushed, like he was put in to a meat compactor or a trash compactor due to Anduriel's grasp of the Iron Fortress spell. So it's kind of a mess as you sit there. And Odelia, the little runt redcap who was clinging to your leg through much of the battle, looks at you and goes, "Mama, we kill!" And he gets a running leap and he dives into the pile of the dead and yucky and starts rolling around in it like a dog, rolls around in the grass, getting all kinds of yucky viscera all over him. And he yells out, "Thank you, Mama!"
Have fun, darling. And I'm going to try and run and hide behind one of the big junk things and see if it's distracted, if it will forget.
Okay. He seems pretty busy. He's actually taking the red cap off of his head and he's dipping the red cap in the blood that he sees right there, which is pretty gruesome, but he's making sure that it's absolutely saturated through, which, as you discovered from your party members, is something that red caps have to do or they fade away. They are cursed by the goddess Titania for their murderous exploits, supposedly. So in any case, Odelia, you go and run behind the shed, and he doesn't seem to notice. Chuka and Clonk, the engineers, have scuttled off towards that structure that's just barely off in the distance, a little bit more into the center of Fort Knucklebones. What do the rest of you do?
Oh, let's see.
Lachlan, I turn to Anduriel and Thora, but most Anduriel, and be like, "What the heck? I'm supposed to be the reckless one. You're the one who makes the wise decisions. But I should have known if there was a deal to be made, you would have made it. Deal with Piper. Oh, a different deal with the Piper. And now a deal. Leave you alone for just a few hours, and you've already made a deal with the devil."
Yes, I made a deal. At least my deals are meaningful. I'm not over here flirting with everything that walks by. Voice. And by the way, where have you been? You leave me with the Munchkin and Bug Guy here. I have no idea what's going on. So now you fly in rather comfortably, I might add, and all of a sudden you start giving me lip. All right.
I've just got dumped off by a traitor. That Sky Warden or whatever they are decided he turned out to be a follower of Navariel, cut me off the saddle, and dumped me from the sky. So now we got to deal with the fact that there's a traitor flying back to wherever we came from, Porta, and who knows what he's gonna do. And then another demigoddess gave me more assignments on the way down. I got to flirt with this hag now and try to seduce her and steal something. Now the flirting I can handle, I think, but the stealing, where's Sabella when you need her? This is horrible. Did you get an assignment from to woo a hag? I guarantee your deal with the imps was nothing compared to my. At least you got some choice in the deal. I got a commandment from a demigoddess who apparently thinks it's fun to play with me. He's not in a very good mood.
Well, and by the way, yeah. First of all, they knew Navariel's name.
Yes, he said Navariel. None of this high one crap.
Okay, and second of all, did your little midair tryst with whoever seem to coincide with me sounding like an idiot like you now? I used to sound refined, Lachlan, okay? And now here I am. I sound just like the regular folk.
Yep, she did it. The demi-goddess, let's see, I've got her name written down here. Malkatia, the demi-goddess of dangerous liaisons. We couldn't get Saint Delia back again, who we all know is just about the most wonderful demi-goddess around. But we couldn't get her. We get stuck
Actually,
with
I agree.
we get stuck with Sindel's cast off, who's like, let's play with the clerics. They're already in hell, so why not have a dangerous liaison with a hag?
When do we get the demi-goddess of marshmallows and unicorns?
Or the demi-goddess of like getting home, or
Or
a vehicle.
Clear answers, helpful answers to real problems.
Or
I don't
picnic
know.
lunches, anything. I mean,
Whatever. Well, it sounds like, okay, so here's the deal. Me and my compatriots, who are, by the way, very useful actually. Thora and the little one. I don't know. You know who I
Odelia.
am. What's that?
Odelia.
Oh yes. Yeah, I like her too.
yeah.
Odelia could hear that and pops her head around. She's like, "Oh,
That's
Someone
Odelia.
likes her.
Lachlan, that's Odelia. Okay. So
and then I go back to
Bugman-
hiding."
Bugman and little girl or little lady, we made that deal because, hey, guess what? We have a phoenix, and the phoenix can help us figure out how to solve all this. But you know what? We need to have happen first. Your new girlfriend has to be able to get the memories from our phoenix out of its brain and into our brains.
So Andariel says that, and popping out of his shirt comes a longer neck, not like a swan neck, but a little bit longer like that, red head with a tuft of little red plumage comes out of his head while he's talking, or out of Andariel's shirt, like right out of the collar of his shirt. And it starts crawling up his face while he's trying to have this conversation.
Oh, a phoenix.
That's him.
And the only person who can get us this information happens to be a hag. I gotta say, I've had my fill of the Fae. And hellish Fae has got to be worse than just regular, normal, everyday Fae. I mean, look at that. And he points over to the red cap playing.
Yeah, that's a special little red
back in
cap.
Winter Run.
That's a special little red cap attached to our very own Odelia here. Oh yeah.
She pokes her head back out. Don't say my name.
Ixnay on the occasion lay of Delia Oa. We're not doing that. So the Phoenix and Mad Maggie. Here's the deal. So the two chickens over there, one of the chickens kind of smooth talked us into taking out this Wuzzik guy, right? In exchange, he's putting in a good word for us with Maggie and kind of giving us an introduction. And that's how we got this whole thing of you have to flirt with her. There may have been some, I don't know, some fine print there, but the main thing is you, Lachlan, alone need to talk to Mad Maggie and go out with her, basically.
You're enjoying this, aren't you?
I mean, voice. It's one of the honors of being the voice.
What's Thora's reaction?
Thora is just kind of listening. He hasn't really committed to a side yet. He sees this argument happening and he's just kind of, he hasn't started mediating yet, but if it gets to fisticuffs, he will.
Okay, so he's just waiting for someone to hit someone. Wouldn't be the first time. Okay, so while you guys are having this kind of bicker and wine fest back and forth, and Odelia is hiding around the corner, hoping to lose this little red cap that has adopted her, someone comes out of that ramshackle stone and iron structure and comes heading your way. And so this person comes out, and then coming towards you is that Kenku engineer with that leather jerkin and all the tools all over him. And he opens his mouth and he goes, why don't you come on over to Mama? And he goes like this.
Well, it looks like we've been invited.
And he hops away a few feet, like birds hop away as they walk. They hop, they don't walk. He hops away a few feet and he beckons you like that.
Well,
I'm gonna say
yeah.
I'm gonna say telepathically to party. So, any tips, you who know stuff about Fae, about how to woo a hag? I don't think my usual moves are gonna do the trick.
I poke my head around and I say, I don't know. I think a lady's a lady no matter what. She'd probably like a bit of attention.
Oh, I agree.
That was the most unsettled I have ever been at a battle.
What is Lachlan's reaction to Odelia?
It's hard because Ryan's reaction to the DM saying, "Oh, I agree." I'm a little distracted by that.
So sorry.
He says, "Yes, but experientially, do you know that, or are you just assuming based on your gender?"
Just assuming. I don't know any hags.
Yeah.
We know a hag.
Yeah, Gizik's the one who should be here. I knew we should have gone with the other thing. I should never have listened to that little brat and her picture.
So just pretend you're Gizik?
Okay, so I say nothing.
I don't know. Let me roll. Let me see. What would this be a roll for? Insight?
Romancing a hag would definitely be an Arcana check.
Arcana.
Or nature at a higher DC.
That I might be able to do.
Well, that's an 8 on the dice, so I'm not going to be able to hit. Yeah, match there.
Nature check. Here we go. 24.
Okay. Thora, you don't really know very much, about romancing hags per se.
Nope.
But you do know quite a bit about the nature of hags. Hags they're parodies of classic femininity. And so they have all the same drives and urges that a classically feminine woman might have. But they're all twisted in some way. They want to be mothers, but they end up being abusive mothers. They want to be romanced, but they end up eating their mates. So, things with a hag.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things with a hag can sometimes even start off normally. In fact, it's very common for them to transform themselves into more pleasing shapes in order to lure to get themselves a man. So things often start very normally with a hag, but their twisted nature ends up betraying them at some point.
Okay, I think at that, Thora will say, Lachlan, do you know what happens when a female praying mantis and a male praying mantis mate?
That's the most Thora answer ever.
Yes, I do. Is that what you're telling me is going to happen?
Potentially. It depends on if she likes you or not.
So you're saying we might have to fight a hag?
Potentially.
All right, the Kenku squawks at you again. He goes, "Now don't keep Mama waiting."
Okay.
And he goes,
all right, Bard. We'll do it together. How's that? We'll all go together.
Oh, lovely, an audience. This will be fantastic.
Okay.
Where are your wingmen?
And then I tell the Kenku telepathically, say, well, let's see. No, I rolled a 2 on my knowledge of what of Kenku. So he just says telepathically, let's just communicate in our minds. It's a lot more pleasing than that honking noise.
Oh, that would be ever so much more convenient, he says in your mind. It isn't wise to keep Mad Maggie waiting. She's quite useful, and she is very well known for rewarding those who prove useful to her. But she doesn't have much patience, so please come along quickly and bring your friends.
As we go, might I ask?
Odelia, are you coming along with them? Are you like hiding behind Thora?
No, I am like full on hiding behind their legs as we go along.
Okay. The little runt Redcap just seems like he's in heaven. He has he's like a pig in a mud sty, and he just doesn't look like he has any intention of leaving anytime soon. So he doesn't even notice. Although I would like you to make a stealth check.
Oh, does that in 4E can your friends help you and give you advantage?
I will give you a +2 bonus because you are using them as cover.
Yeah. Can you guys like make a giant man wall?
Okay, something like that. Now, as you go ahead.
10. Oh,
10.
wait, you said a +2, so 12.
So 12, and then you get to add half your level and your dexterity modifier if you're not trained.
Well, it says I have a +4, so that is including that. I rolled a 6.
Alrighty. So Delia, your stealth check isn't fantastic, but it seems to be enough. However, the Phoenix pops out of Anduriel's cloak and is now just kind of sitting on his shoulder, and it looks down at you and it goes, "Rat! Halfling hiding! Halfling hiding! Rat!" Shh! Shh! Okay.
Can you please shut up that bird?
Okay. And the Phoenix just
shut up.
goes,
Faster or something.
Yep.
Anduriel's gonna shove him in. Ashbeak, shut up.
Mama's here. Mama's.
And I just take off running in the direction that the Kenku is going.
Okay, so Delia just takes off running after the Kenku. Once again, your stealth check was more than enough. He's very distracted by all the gore and viscera, and he's having a good time, despite the fact that the Phoenix tried to give you away. So, in any case, out of that ramshackle hut, right in front of it, stands a 6'5" tall and yet hunched over, vaguely feminine figure wearing a long red shift that is covered in dried blood, fungus growing out of like the side of the arm, mud, and worse. You're not quite sure what all of it is. One of her eyes seems to be mechanical, like it's made out of a spyglass that adjusts itself by zooming in and out as she focuses. And one of her arms ends in a clanking metallic pincher that just kind of goes clunk, 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 like absent-mindedly. And hanging from her nasty red shift are all manner of interesting looking mechanical devices. So you see that, and her little spyglass eye goes, and it extends to a disgustingly, long length. Like, it looks like somebody stabbed her in the eye, and then a little red dot comes out of it, little red line, and a red dot appears on Thora's forehead.
What's happening?
And for a minute, you're like, somebody cast a light spell or something like that. But then the red dot like moves, it goes over your eye and it blinds you very briefly.
Yeah.
It goes over.
You can't trust kids with those.
And then as you approach, behind her comes loping out of the structure an enormous Frankenstein-esque creature that easily towers over her, and she's well over 6 feet tall, even hunched over. Its body seems to be comprised of different fiend parts, possibly some devil, possibly some demon. He has an enormous frog-like maw that drools acid that's like dripping constantly, and he shuffles forward after the hag with a terrible limp that seems to be really causing him problems moving. And yet at the same time, he kind of compensates by dislocating his joints. So it's like he plants one leg and moves his whole body around that leg and then drags the other one in a very unnatural. It's almost like watching a machine move rather than a living biological organism of some kind. And as you approach, she looks at you all and she goes, Who killed my sister? Who killed the witch of the east of Avernus? And she points to Odelia and goes, was it you?
I just look up at the other guys and go, is this another part of the story I don't know yet?
We haven't run into another hag.
Oh, wait, I killed my sister. Oh, never mind. Silly me. Well, then, what was I going to ask all of you?
I don't know, but is your friend okay?
What friends? I don't have any friends.
He's pointing to the like conglomeration thingo.
The Frankenstein monster, the Frankenstein
Terminator.
fiend. Okay. She's pointing to the Terminator, and he goes, "Oh, Mickey? Mickey's fine." She says Mickey's fine, and a bunch of red caps come out from behind the stone structure, about maybe 50 feet away, and they start walking out and limping, like pretending to limp and falling over each other and imitating this creature. And they're going, ha! Do the Mickey! Do the Mickey! And then they start dancing, and then they all hop on one foot and fall down, and just generally mocking this poor Frankenstein creature. And it looks back, and it goes, and just makes some really unpleasant noises.
Like Marge Simpson.
I don't remember Marge Simpson ever going, but maybe close. And she looks at you, Thora, and she shifted that little laser pointer over to Odelia, and then she shifts it back to you again and hits you in the other eye, and you're like blinding
Stop,
you.
please.
And then a cat comes crawling up your robe and starts to chase it. All of it. It's really crazy.
I'm allergic.
Okay. And she says,
Druid allergic to animals.
No, John is.
She says,
man.
"Oh, Mickey's always fine. You don't have to worry about him. I don't worry about him. If something falls off of him, I just find a replacement and put it back on."
Thora is now like really interested in whatever's going on with this thing's leg.
Okay. Would you like to make a perception check, please?
Sure. The fact that she's ignoring it is making him more curious, because it's clear the thing's in pain. Oh, that rolled. Hold on.
It rolled
It rolled under like the bottom side of my desk. 28
We'll call it a 20.
total.
a 20 what?
28.
Okay, so you look at this bad boy, and you actually catch sight of something that is stuck behind his kneecap. He actually has a piece of the same kind of devil bone that was stuck in that vehicle that you guys ended up repairing. It's the exact same kind of body part. It's a shard, it's a big old shard of bone devil, and it's stuck in the back of his knee, and it's stuck in such a way that it's locking his knee and preventing it from bending at all. So this thing has no choice but to drag its entire leg behind it.
I
Mickey-
lean over and go, "Don't eat it."
Mickey, this might hurt. And Thora is going to try to remove it.
Okay, so you approach Mickey, and he goes, "Arr!" And the hag in front of you looks at you and goes, "What are you doing? Why are you playing with Mickey?"
It looks like he has a piece of bone piercing through his knee. I'm going to see if I can remove it, if that's okay.
Oh, nonsense. If he had a piece of bone in his knee, I would have. Oh, look at that. And she looks at it and she goes, "Well, why'd you put that bone in his knee?"
I didn't. It
Well,
seems
how'd
like
you know it was there?
I took a look.
Did my sister put you up to this?
No,
killed
because
your
you already
sister.
killed her.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, go ahead and take it out.
Okay, so he's going to try and remove the bone spear.
Okay. you're gonna need to make a strength check. It'll come out, but it's kind of a tug.
Okay.
I want to try and communicate telepathically with this machine thing.
With what?
With Mickey.
Okay.
Hey, Mickey, are you able to communicate telepathically?
I hurt.
Well, he's gonna pull that thing out. Can you give him a hand?
He starts pulling on his hand, like trying to get it off.
Dang it. I was like, please start clapping. Please start clapping.
And he's takes his hand and he's like, hand attached.
I just mean, can you help pull the thing out from behind your knee?
All right. It turns around, Thora, and now its legs are planted, but its body completely exorcist turns around at the waist and looks down at you and goes,
fascinating.
And it reaches down, but apparently someone hasn't been doing his limbar stretches because he can't reach. So he reaches down and he can't quite make it.
Lachlan, could you warn him that this might hurt?
Gonna hurt, boy.
Get out.
And
That's what he says in Lachlan's head.
I'm going to. Oh, that's really good. 19 plus 3.
Okay. You pull out a shard of bone devil that is easily as long as my forearm right here. But this bad boy is so tall that he's so enormous and he's such a mess that it was hiding and could have been there forever. It was lodged so far down in there, not to mention the fact that it was lodged like all the way down inside of his calf, like locking it in there. So had you not had such a good eye, you probably wouldn't have pulled it out. Lachlan, he mentally shouts in your head like, better! And like you're like, to the point where you almost like want to grab your head. And
good. You're welcome, Mickey.
Mickey hops up and down on his foot. And he looks at Mad Maggie and he tries to smile and just ends up dripping more acid down on the end of her robe. And he points down and smiles at her. And she goes, stop it, you're gonna burn me. And she backs away a few steps and she goes, stupid Gollum. And then she looks back at you and she says, now, what brings you to Fort Knuckleball? Oh, what a pretty birdie. Come to me, pretty birdie. Maggie has a treat for you. And she reaches into her nasty red shift and pulls out some kind of wriggling object. You're like, oh, it's a worm. But you look on the end of it and it's got like a human head. Tiny little human head. And fangs. And it turns around and tries. I mean, it just looks awful. And she's like, come here, pretty birdie. And Duriel, she comes rushing towards Ashbeak and starts chasing him. And Ashbeak leaps off of you and starts flapping and hovering. And pretty soon she is running around you with Ashbeak kind of in a circle, like trying to give him, come get your nummy. Come here, bird. And then she reaches out and leaps for him. And Ashbeak goes, red, crazy hag, red, angel blood, do something.
And Duriel's gonna try and snag him before she can catch him.
Make a dexterity check, please. Half your level on your dexterity modifier.
That is a 16, 19, 25.
Okay, so you effectively managed to snatch Ashbeak by his tail and his legs. You have a firm grasp of him, but you're holding him and he's flapping in the air aloft, like on the end of your arm, going, freedom, freedom.
And kind of grab him and kind of pull him down and do a little bit of a pirouette and bow at the waist. Oh, now you must be Mad Maggie. What in tarnation is going on here? Lachlan, what in the name of Shadow, that demon woman you talked to on the way down, what did she say about her spell?
Are you speaking telepathically?
No, I'm speaking out loud right now.
is happening?
That is
I will say
exactly what I would
telepathically.
like to know.
I say telepathically, well, you're the one who said we need to get information from the toucan there. And then I step in right in front of Mad Maggie and say,
Okay.
I had heard tale that you are the most knowledgeable warlord of Avernus.
You heard true. How much do you want for the pretty birdie? I'd be willing to give you 5, maybe 7 soul coins if it hasn't been neutered.
Well, we're actually not here for that. We're here for 2 things. The first and most important thing is I worship the love goddess, Sindel.
She makes a face.
And I have found myself with a lack of romance in this terrible place. And I had heard that you were single, and that perhaps we could go on a little date, have dinner.
Hey, all right. Mad Maggie stops and just goes, now, whoever told you that Mad Maggie was single? I got more boyfriends than a Hollywood madam.
I think they meant like you're not in a committed relationship.
Nobody can hold Maggie's feet to the fire for too long. She gets way too much action. What makes you think I should spend any time with you?
Well, because as a servant of the goddess of love, I have talents that you might, in lovemaking, that you might have never experienced before.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that'll about do it. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. It was good.
It's been great.
It was good.
This stream has been updated to a PG-13.
Oh, we were always PG-13. We just earned our 13. Okay. We'll be putting okay. And she stops and she looks at you and she's like she blinks. Like she's unsure of how to answer. And she goes, well, Maggie finds you forward. I tell you what, I'll go on a little date with you, but let's bring your birdie. How about that?
Of course, and that brings us to the second reason we're here. This bird has some forgotten memories, and we were told that you, being an expert in all things arcane, might be able to help us unlock those memories. And if you were to oblige us with that, we would be willing to share that information in exchange for your help in unlocking it. You do deal in information, don't you?
Her eye that is organic goes like wide for a minute, and she looks at the phoenix that is, flapping away from Anduriel, who's now, she's like, I imagine he's holding it with both of his hands, and she looks at the phoenix and she looks at you and she goes, well, I think we can come to some kind of arrangement. And then she grabs your hand, Lachlan, and she starts dragging you towards the towards that little stone structure. And she goes, come on, and bring your friends.
Okay, so, and then mentally he says to the party, I wish Sister Faudever were here. I never thought I'd be saying that. I have a feeling I'm going to need some help of a physician after this.
Any response
We're
to
a
him?
priest. Good thing we're all clerics.
I could call her if you really need me to.
Well, I don't know that matters have gotten that bad here quite yet. Now, Lachlan, we have a bit of a dilemma. This bird needs to stay with me at all times. I cannot allow her or you to take said animal. And why do I sound like some sort of Matlock character? What is going on right now?
I say.
Some sort of person who should be hawking fried chicken or something. That deal you made with that demigoddess, did it have anything to do with this? I imagine it did.
I did not make a deal with her at all. she just gave me orders, but I'm sure she's the one jacking this up. But I gotta say, I find it your manner of speech to be delightful.
Oh my, I do declare.
This is going to be a
I guess
thing all night, I expect.
So it's you, me, Maggie, and the bird. Well, this is getting kinky. So,
Gosh.
I need to leave.
Good
Just
night,
stop
everybody.
right now.
Bye.
Okay.
I'm going to stop you right there, Bard. It's me, or it's just going to be Maggie, myself, and the bird. Okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, she drags you in there and she says, "Do you have any idea what a fine specimen of creature y'all have in your company? And I'm not talking about Maggie. That there bird is worth his weight in souls. But before I give you any information, let's come to terms, shall we?"
let's talk.
Quickly,
want me
if I may, Miss Maggie, and I can tell why they call you Mad Maggie. It's hard to be in your presence without becoming mad, mad for you, as one might say. There is a don't thumbs down me.
Okay, you say that, and Duriel, and she looks at Lachlan, and then she looks at you, and goes and tries to give like her version of a girlish laugh, but it ends up coming out more like Ursula the Sea Witch.
I don't know if I'm glad that I can successfully woo this hag or not. Anyways, Maggie, magnificent Maggie. I just want to say, one thing that we cannot put in these negotiations is the animal itself. The creature must stay with us. That is, unfortunately, I know you appreciate these animals as much as anyone, but that is something that we must not even broach. Is that amenable to you?
She looks at you and Duriel for a second, and she lifts up her pincher and her claws, and she starts going clack, 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 clack on her pincher, and then she bites onto one of her claws, and then she tries to bite the pincher, and it hits herself in the face. It's like, ow! Like, just kind of nervous habit. She goes, "Oh, now, are you sure you can't part with this little birdie for Maggie? I mean, what good is it really doing you?"
Oh, my dear Maggie, it pains my soul to tell you this, but unfortunately, this bird must remain with us. We, a holy woman of a nomadic tribe, gifted him unto us in order to help us on our quest. I'm afraid we cannot part ways with him.
But you'll let me delve as deep as my magic can, right? You share all the information. We split it.
Yes.
Well, no, I think that's fair.
All right. She stares kind of hungrily at the bird. And I would like you all to make an insight check now, please. Let's see how well you're reading her.
Oh, natural 20.
Ooh.
12.
A 12. 20.
22.
21.
22, 21. Okay. So she's obviously like just drooling over this bird as you read her. She really wants it. You get the impression that as you're watching her and listening to her, she really would like to have the bird, but she's more interested in the information that she's going to get out of the bird. So she's all like, "Oh, are you sure you don't want to sell the bird?" And then she's like, "Okay, well, as long as I get to know." So you get the impression that what you have to hold over her is how hungry she is to find out what this bird knows, what's in its head. So she says, "Well, if Maggie is going to do you a solid, then we need to come to a little arrangement, a contract, a formal contract." She says, "I will pluck your bird with gentle kindness." And she starts to move towards the bird, like she wants to try to pet it, and Duriel, it starts screeching again and goes down the back of your shirt.
Oh, now as you approach with those delicate claws of yours, I must remind you that the bird must remain with me at all times. And you know, being in your presence kind of confuddles all of our minds. So we want to make sure that the terms of the agreement are set clearly before us, so so as not to get lost in some of those minute details in your presence.
Andrea, make a diplomacy check, please.
Who knew Anduriel had more game than Lachlan?
Oh, well, we'll see if I have more games. That's a 19.
Well, I think Lachlan's just more direct. I mean, it's obvious that he just wants a piece. I'm just saying.
23.
That much is clear.
All right. She looks at you, Anduriel, and she looks at Lachlan, and she looks back and forth between the two of you, and she reaches out to pinch your cheek, Anduriel, and Lachlan, you wink at her, and she giggles like a little schoolgirl. She's like, "Oh, imagine my pleasure." And she's like, "Having two such strapping young lads here, not only bringing me a gift, but also wooing me." And she pinches your cheek, Anduriel, and leaves something slimy on your cheek as she pulls away.
You are too kind, and it is our definite pleasure to be in your presence. Now, let us discuss more of the terms of this negotiation. Perhaps you may notice my companion here. He is a renowned person. He is the voice of the Divine Fellowship. I don't know if you've heard of us. He is the voice of our fellowship, and he will be happy to negotiate the terms with you, as I am sometimes not the best at these types of negotiations.
Oh dear, we look like we've lost the Tommy.
Oh, she's gone. She's back. She's here.
Oh,
there she is.
Here, I'm
There's
here. So sorry.
That is okay. Alrighty, moving on there. Okay, I think we're good to go. Okay, cool. So
Sorry about that.
Maggie says to you, she says,
internet pooped out.
Yeah, it happens. She says, "Now you have to understand that Maggie has certain responsibilities here in Avernus. Certain responsibilities that, well, she has contracts of her own that she has to fill. So, I want a little service from y'all." And she looks at you, and then Lachlan, she winks at you, and her little spyglass eye goes like that. And she says, "Now, Avernus has any number of warlords, and, well, Maggie has a little contract, you see, that means if any of them gets too uppity, that Maggie has to put them down. I say down." And she looks at you and she says, "It just so happens that there's a little necromancer biddy who is causing Maggie some grief, not showing Maggie proper respect. Can you imagine?"
Perish the thought, madam.
And she looks at you, Lachlan, like waiting for a reaction.
I'm going to say telepathically to her, "And you want us to eliminate this threat?"
"Well, you see, her name is Fëanor, and she's a necromancer. But she's raising too many zombies. She's starting to get all full of herself, talking about wiping out Miss Maggie. Can you imagine? Like her zombies could stand up to my red caps. I don't think so." And then she says, "Now, if you were to agree to, I don't know, trim her sails a little bit, why, Miss Maggie would be so pleased." And then she reaches around and she grabs your butt, Lachlan.
Okay.
Lachlan, I would like you to make a bluff check to not be horrified.
15 plus 12, so 27.
Okay. All right. So the rest of you probably notice as she reaches around and gooses Lachlan that he is trying to fight some kind of involuntary reaction and manages to stifle it. And she says, "You don't have to kill her. In fact, I'd rather maybe you not kill her, but if you could trim her forces a little bit and say, find a way to humiliate her."
So you want us to share the information and humiliate your foe in exchange for you unlocking the secrets of the bird? It's a little one-sided. I think we need to sweeten our side a little bit too. If we're gonna trim her sails, what can you do to sweeten our pot beyond your own the time we get to be with you?
Stop.
Your obvious charms.
Your obvious.
Okay.
Hey, I got a 27 on my bluff.
Okay.
He's swallowing the vomit, but he's saying it.
Okay. So, yeah. She looks at you and she says, "Well, it seems to me that I'm giving you the information. You came to Maggie because only Maggie can get the information out of this little birdie boy. Isn't that right? So it seems to me like you're not getting anything out of the birdie if Maggie doesn't work her mojo."
True, but neither are you. And you want that information probably more than you want me.
She looks up at the bird, or around it where the bird was at Enduriel's back, and she's like, "Oh, I won't lie to you. Maggie does want to know what's inside that little puppy, but Maggie needs a little help, see? Now, I won't send you by yourselves. I'd be happy to give you some of my red caps. You can get as many of them killed as you want."
We all turn and look at Odelia.
What about Mickey? Can we take Mickey?
"Oh, Mickey stays with Maggie. You wouldn't leave me without my protection. A girl is so vulnerable in Avernus.
True. What
I'm
about
a sweet, delicate flower."
what about the your chickens?
Okay. She says, "Mommy's babies?
Imps are pretty good in a pinch, right?
Mommy's babies are for gathering information. Did you meet Mommy's babies?"
We did. They were charming.
Okay.
They spoke so highly of you.
All right. She says, "Well, I tell you what. Not only will I pluck this little birdie's memories for you like a pear off a tree, but I'll throw in a few soul coins and an infernal engine to ride around Avernus on. Now, you ain't gonna get a better deal from anybody but that."
Nope, we're not. Let's put it in writing and go pay a visit to this thorn in your side.
Okay. She looks at you and she says, "Well, now, just a minute here. Let's come to specific terms, shall we? Maggie likes to have everything just so. I tell you what. I give you 3 soul coins and one of my infernal engines, and we pluck the bird first, and then you go on your way and do Maggie a solid. You get all the info, even if you die."
Fair enough.
I don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
Fair enough, but can we throw in that date in the deal too?
And she
And
goes,
then he gives her another wink.
"Okay."
I don't want you to. I don't want. It would hurt my feelings if you broke my heart.
Okay. Make a bluff check, please.
It would hurt my
A
feelings.
natural 19, so 31.
Okay. All right.
I don't know crap, but I can bluff.
Okay. Maggie Anduriel, Maggie comes along looking at your back, and she puts she drapes an arm around you, and she drags Lachlan over to you and wraps her other arm around him. And the smell that is coming out of her pits is so toxic that you think you might throw up. And she says, well, look at here, what we got going on right here. She says, I couldn't imagine when I got up this morning, had my morning tea, squashed that red-capped skull in for back-talking me, that I would be courting with two fine young specimens. And then Duriel, she sniffs you, and she goes, ooh, and this one has angel blood. And she looks at you and she goes, ooh, and it ain't no normal angel either. You got archangel blood shifting up in your veins?
Well, now, Maggie, of course, an angel such as you would notice something like that. I appreciate that. It's like a summer morning on the veranda drinking a nice tea.
Okay.
In your embrace.
Okay. Anduriel and Lachlan, I would like both of you to make endurance checks to see if you can prevent from gagging.
The 21.
16. That's a 17.
Okay. That is just enough. Anduriel, you go on this long, little speech, and then you have to take in a breath. And normally you could have held your breath indeterminately and not had a problem because you were dead. You only had to breathe when you wanted to speak. But now you have to breathe to speak and to stay alive. And so you can't help it. You take in a breath and you very, very nearly retch on her after this, but you manage to just turn it into a smile. And Maggie says, well, of course, gentlemen, why don't we have ourselves a nice little dinner? We can have it on the roof. It'll be all romantic and open for view.
That sounds lovely, Maggie. That sounds absolutely lovely.
But first we pluck this birdie's goose.
Well, now, I agree. We mustn't rush our evening too soon. We have work to do, obviously. It may take a while for us to engage in that dinner. Now, the process of extracting the information from this bird, what does it entail? That is my first question. The second question is, if we are to embarrass your foe, what is it that would embarrass that person? What does that entail us doing?
Okay. Oop, lost Tommy again. Oh, this is not boding well. Let's see. Oh, it says she's still connected. Oh, there we go. She's popping back in.
Sorry, I don't know. I can't know how to fix it.
I blame John. Don't worry about it.
Is your internet self-quarantining? It probably is, and it's okay. It's like,
if someone in the house is watching Netflix, that destroys your bandwidth.
Somebody's streaming Disney Plus upstairs. The Mandalorian's going.
I bet it's my teenage boys.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. We will let you do that. If it makes you feel any better, I have to do the same thing. Nobody is allowed to be on the internet when I'm streaming.
Yeah.
They have to, and we make it a movie night, and they put in DVDs and they watch popcorn. And they eat popcorn. They don't.
They put in.
I'm a very strict father. I won't let them eat the popcorn.
Just look at it.
I mean, ever since I started this
children-
diet, I can look at popcorn. I can't eat it anymore.
I'm like,
I've convinced my children that the popcorn is a DVD. They put it in the DVD player and watch it spin around. It's engrossing.
Nothing happens, but I'll let them smell it. But yes,
I want to, as we are this close to her, I gotta try and steal something. What's
man,
okay?
come
What can
on,
I get?
make a perception check, please.
Like a little human-headed worm.
23. Human-headed worm. No, I don't want to steal the worm.
No, she ended up dropping that or putting it back in her robes. You weren't really paying attention to what happened.
I'm not going back. I'm not going in for anything.
Lachlan, you notice with a 23, you notice that Sparky says, my nephew put a PB&J sandwich in the VCR once. Why not? Like, of course. Yeah, you know. You notice with a 23, Lachlan, that she is actually she has a number of things on her that she carries that look kind of valuable. She's got a black amulet that is like hidden, that you get a glimpse of because you can look, like straight down her front or into her robe from where her arm is around you. Mm-hmm. It's a black amulet with 5 stars around it. Looks like it's made of obsidian or something like that. And you also notice that she's got some kind of a coin pouch or a neck purse that she's got around her neck. And you also see that she's got something metallic in her pocket. You think if you were trying to put a smooth move, you think you could go for any one of those.
Let's go for the amulet.
Which one?
The obsidian one around her neck.
The obsidian amulet? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All righty.
Okay. You ready?
My friend, you are going to have to make a thievery check.
Okay.
Are you trained in thievery, Lachlan?
No, but I'm almost trained in everything. So I've got a +4
you
instead of a +5.
You have the bard of
He's
all
a
trades.
little good at a lot
what's
of
your
things.
total?
Great at nothing.
So here we go. And I have adepts inside if I need it to add a 1 die 4 +1. I don't need it. I do not need it.
What did you get?
20.
Ooh! Okay. All right. Lachlan, you put your arm around her and you pull out a knife and you snip the back of this thing and it falls and you whisk it out of her robe so fast that she doesn't even feel anything. And you have this little obsidian 5-pointed star amulet now with her, from her rather. And so that is what you see, Mr. Lachlan.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Oh boy. All right. We see you, Tommy. You still seem to be freezing in and out just a bit.
Oh, okay. You guys seem fine, so let me know if it keeps happening. I kicked everybody off their things.
It's okay if the visual is off as long as the audio is keeping up. So if you freeze on the visual, that's fine as long as your audio keeps going. So
okay.
We won't worry about it. All right. So you snatch this thing off of her, Lachlan, and then Maggie starts going into a little bit of a detail about what this is going to entail. So she takes you into that room. If you will allow me to bring up this glorious map in here. So she brings you onto this map and she pulls you back into square 5M, bringing all of you with her. And you come back in there and you see that she has some kind of a summoning circle that is etched into the stone floor of this structure. And it is etched neatly in. The runes in that circle right there that you see, the runes in that circle are etched in with some kind of silver dust of some kind. It might even be platinum. And so it looks very, very fancy. It's at odds with the rest of this place. The rest of her hut, as you walk in through the door, she's got nasty, like rotted, moth-eaten curtains that she moves out of the way as she leads you back there. There's piles of junk in the corner. You see a rat go skittering across the floor. It's just nasty. But she brings you to the back of this thing and looks at it, and she brings you to that summoning circle, and you take a look at it, you notice it's not like a normal summoning circle, because in the center of it, you see there's a chair and there's a bunch of straps on the chair that it almost looks like something that a dentist would use. And the chair itself is it's rickety, it's got some jagged edges, and off the edges of it are all kinds of pointy looking piercing tools, things on the end of like a pistol, little needles, a set of daggers with curved I mean, it looks like the kind of chair that you would never want to sit in. And she says, well, this is the magic room where Maggie makes all her mojo happen. And she says, one kind of magic. And Anduriel, she squeezes your peck. Just reaches out, squeezes you. Anduriel, please make a bluff check to try to conceal your horror.
19 on the dice, so 24.
Okay. All right, that's more than enough. Okay, so she doesn't notice the fact that you're just absolutely horrified as she is copping a feel here. And she still and she puts one arm, she still has an arm around both of you, so you're still like, please lower your arms, please cover your armpit. And she looks at you and she says, this is where Maggie works her dream magic. See, what we do is we put the little birdie in the chair and we do a few pokes. Nothing damaging, he'll be fine. We'll even put it in the contract that no harm is to come to that sweet, precious baby. Where is that sweet, precious baby? And Anduriel, she starts to reach into the back of your shirt.
Oh, now, Maggie. I appreciate your zeal. You are quite quite forceful, and that is a wonderful trait to have. Let me get the bird for you, and I will place it upon the table once we have concluded our negotiations and things are as they should be.
Okay, Anduriel, the bird climbs up out of your shirt in the back and makes a break for it.
Stupid bird.
So if you are going to grab the bird, you're going to need to make an attack roll.
I'd like to grab the bird and then give her the bird.
Well, you can. Which bird do you intend? Okay.
We got dad jokes here. Okay.
Yeah, it's that week.
An attack. Okay. 16. Half my level. 16, 20. 20.
Okay. That is more than enough. You do manage to grab hold of Ashbeak, and Ashbeak is flapping, trying to fly towards Thora, and it screeches out, "Run! Druid! Help, Druid! Help, Druid!" Druid friend!
Thora will gently grab him, but not out of Anduriel's hands, and just try to calm it down because he knows we need to do this.
Okay.
And he's like cooing to it like a parent to a baby.
Okay, make a nature check if you would, please.
I'm good at those.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
So
very nice.
Total of 32.
Okay. So you make Thora actually starts speaking bird. He opens his mouth and you would swear that there was an actual bird in his mouth. The sounds that are coming out are so authentic. And he manages to calm the bird down, and it stops flapping, and it just kind of, I mean, it still looks nervous, but it does calm down, and it goes, "Don't probe the bird! Don't poke the bird!"
No probing.
But it's calm.
No poking. We're gonna try and find some memories that you seem to have forgotten. No hurting. Promise.
All right. The bird looks at you, Thora, and it does that thing where the dogs look at you and goes, like does the dog tilt and looks at you for a second, angles, and then it looks back at Maggie and it starts, chittering a little bit, but it goes, "Bird, no hurt the bird, precious birdie." Okay. Maggie goes, "Oh, lovely. Strap him into the chair."
So are we agreed? Are the terms of the contract, the agreement, sealed?
Okay. She says, 3 soul coins and one of my infernal war machines. In exchange, we pluck the bird's memories right here, and you humiliate Theonore, and you thin out her zombie forces. Are we agreed? Do we have a deal?
And no.
Well, now,
harm
Maggie,
comes.
there are 4 of us adventurers, so perhaps 4 soul coins might be in order.
All right. She looks at you, Anduriel, and she says, 4 soul coins, and Maggie gets a vial of your angel blood, your sweet celestial juice. And Maggie promises she never uses the angel blood to do evil magic on you.
Well, now, I think 3 coins sounds just about right, Maggie. You were right. You were prescient to begin with. My apologies for questioning your wisdom in the first place. That sounds like a good deal.
Okay. She looks at all 4 of you, and she looks at you, Thora, and she looks at you, Odelia, and looks at you, Lachlan, and she says, "Are we all agreed? Everybody signs Maggie's contract?"
All right.
Agreed.
Okay. So Maggie casts a little spell, and she conjures up a blackened piece of parchment that looks like it was put through a fire, and nevertheless, when she clasps it, it doesn't seem to shred or wrinkle. It folds out like metal, almost like it was copper or something like that. And she just kind of points her finger like this and goes down it like a typewriter almost. For those of you kids at home who might watch this video, a typewriter was an old machine that we used to use before computers that used to go ding and go back. In any case, so it goes back and forth, and as she moves and sweeps her finger back and forth, writing appears on this blackened contract. And you may all read it if you would like to as she writes it, to see if Maggie has been honest and forthright with you.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I need all of you to make insight checks, please, to see how well you understand the contract Maggie writes up.
Oh, that's a 5.
22.
18. And I think Tommy froze again.
12.
There it goes.
12. Okay.
12. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Even if you freeze, it seems like we can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Okay, so you go looking through it, and as far as all of you can tell, she's put in exactly into the contract what you stated. 3 soul coins, you humiliate Theonore, and you thin out her zombie herd ranks a little bit. And in exchange, she plucks the bird's memories to her satisfaction and your satisfaction, and you get 3 soul coins. Okay, that you walk away with. Okay. All right. And Maggie takes a pen out of her robe that looks like it's made out of iron. She stabs her hand and she signs her name and hands the pen to the rest of you. She wants to share needles.
Always
do
with
it.
the blood.
Just don't touch your face afterwards.
Very nice. Okay. So you sign the contract and Maggie rolls it up she puts it on one end of her hand and she goes like that. And as she does, the contract vanishes into black ash that just kind of drops onto the floor. And then she looks at you and she says, "We are agreed. Now put that puppy into his chair."
Let's go, Ashbeak. It's time to make you a hero, son.
Okay. He starts kind of squawking and his eyes just go super wide, but he allows you to put him in the chair and he goes, "Right, payback if this goes bad."
Fair enough, bud.
Okay. All right, you strap him in.
Yeah, strap him in.
Okay. The birdie looks at you and he goes and looks up at you and Duriel. He goes, "Right, bad karma if bird dies."
Well, bird won't die. You're not gonna die, Ashbeak. We've been given her word that you will not die. She told us.
Okay. And it looks at you, Tommy, and the little phoenix goes, "Right, halflings go to hell too if they lie. Right."
I would never. I mean, we're already here.
Okay. Alrighty. So Maggie says, "Now Maggie's gonna need all three of you, all four of you, to stand at north, south, west, and east of this here birdie. Cause see, somebody's gotta go in and pluck this little birdie's memories. Maggie can't go in by herself. She can only send you in. Unless Maggie were to eat the bird in its dreams."
No, that won't be necessary, Maggie. That won't be necessary.
And she says, "But we made a deal." All right. And she says, "Now that we made a deal, do you have any idea what a fine specimen of creature y'all have in your company? That there bird is worth his weight in souls. He used to ride with my main woman, Zariel." She goes, "Oh, do you guys like Zariel? Do you want to see my Zariel collection?"
Yes.
Okay. And she goes, oh, she looks at the bird, and then she looks at the entrance to the spellcasting chamber, and she's like, "Oh, well, maybe we do that after. How about that?"
That
She
sounds
says,
like a good idea.
"Maggie has every collector card, first and second epoch. I have the celestial figurine set with the posable attack forms and the swinging arm chain. Pew, pew." And then she says, "I even have the flaming halo hat with the alternating celestial aura. I know y'all are going to want to see that."
It certainly sounds interesting.
And she says, "Okay, now gather round. Maggie's going to put y'all into a little sleep. Now, don't be surprised. It might be a little startling to you." So Maggie begins to gather a number of ingredients from that little cabinet that you see in the corner of the room that you're in. And she pulls out a disgusting array of accoutrement. She pulls out eyeballs, and she crushes the eyeballs into paste and she smears them into her own eyes. And she takes out what you are reasonably sure is a set of human teeth, and she starts sprinkling them at your feet and says, "Now don't move. Everybody stay right where they are." And she rubs a number of other things into the circle itself. And then she starts chanting a guttural chant that sounds halfway between Gregorian chant and some kind of bayou music, you know? Like that. Exactly. Just back and forth between that. Okay. So you awaken standing on a landscape of solid clouds that encircle a mountain of indescribable beauty that towers over you in the distance. The mountain is blue, purple, and purest white, with deep veins of shimmering gold and amethyst running through it like rivers. At different crags around the mountain, you can make out settlements built along the edges, nestled into the side, like they've always been part of it. The clouds around you are solid, and they're shaped more like a topiary garden with cloud bushes, cloud trees, and even small cloud structures like houses. Weaving in and out of the clouds and leading to the mountains are a network of rainbows that in some locations seem like mere decorations, and in other places seem to connect cloud landmasses leading to the great mountains in the distance. So as you step into this airy version of Carolot, Sparkkeeper, he says, oh my gosh, it's Carolot. What are the reactions as you all step into this place?
Genuine
like
surprise.
Much better.
Well, at least it's not a tavern with a giant ooze.
Any reaction from Anduriel?
He's just taking it all in. He's kind of in awe a little bit.
So as you take in this view, a winged form suddenly comes skidding down a rainbow and then racing through the skies, and it crashes through the boughs of a cloud tree near you. This winged form has a soft-colored blue hair, like water from the Caribbean. It's pleasing to look at. She has a golden nimbus above her head in the shape of a halo, and she's wearing a silvery or platinum kind of armor and a white robe that goes over it and comes down like a tabard between her legs and across her back, somewhat like Sister Faudever, but not half so anal and covering. And etched into her armor are a number of runes that are rather magnificent to look at. I would like all of you to make religion checks, please, to identify the runes.
Ooh, I'm actually trained in this. And it's a good thing.
17.
24.
19.
Okay, so you all get a good look at these runes on her armor as she kind of flies in and, you know, kind of crashes through this cloud tree. And she flies back out, and you can see there's some kind of celestial ruins. Who's the one who got the 24? That was you. And Duriel, you actually got a 26 because I'm giving you minor advantage on this one. You recognize that these are not only celestial symbols, they're angelic symbols, and they actually denote her as an angel of vigilance. You know from a number of reasons, partially because your mother is an angel of death, particularly the angel of death through sacrifice, that angels usually have a role to which they are devoted to. And that this angel who is in front of you is an angel of vigilance, of watchful protection. And this angel's divine purpose, according to the symbols that you see, ingrained and written into her very soul, is the need to watch for a time when you will need to protect. And so she cuts a very magnificent figure through the clouds. And as she bursts down through the top of this cloud tree, there's a burst of flame and a beautiful orange and yellow bird with a red head plume that's long and trails behind it, and wings of layered blue, red, and orange comes bursting through the top of the cloud tree in a burst of fire. His wings shed slight flame as he flaps, and he squawks at the angel, startled. And Zariel has her first line.
Oh, Ashbeak! Oh, Ashbeak, wake up! It's finally happened!
Whoa, Zariel, are you trying to kill me?
Oh, Ashbeak, this is no time to be a slug-a-bed. Get up! We have so much to do and plan. I don't even know what kind of sword I should take with me and what enchanted items will function across interplanar boundaries, or when we'll be able to communicate, or should we stay concealed?
Whoa, doll, hold your horses, doll. What is all this?
It's what I've always dreamed of. The choir master of the Vigilant Chorus has finally called me on assignment. I'm being assigned. We're finally leaving Mount Celestia.
Really, Angel Face? And where are we going?
to where I've always dreamed of going. We're being sent to the front lines in the battle against chaos and evil. We're going to hell. Oh, Ashbeak, it's going to be wonderful. This has to be the beginning of a change, a great shift in the way things are in the plains. Something is finally happening. I just wish I knew why they were sending me. If the angelic hosts were finally ready to enter the struggle against demonkind, why aren't they sending one of the archangels to lead the fight, like Navariel or Jehoshaphat?
Maybe it's because you're always going on and on about how we can't sit on the sidelines anymore and watch the demons destroy the multiverse.
Oh no. What if they're sending me just to get rid of me? What if they're sending me there just so I won't keep pestering about the threat of the abyss? Oh, I'm so stupid.
Oh, now, wait just a minute here, doll.
If they were serious about destroying the demons, they would have sent Nathkashara or another angel of death. Are they hoping I'll fall in battle? Are they hoping I'll fall from grace?
You fall from grace? It could never happen.
What about the angels already there? The ones expecting real help, real progress?
Zari, you gotta listen to me. They'll be dancing on air when they meet you, dancing on air with glee.
I doubt they'll be celebrating when they see it's only me.
They'll do cartwheels in air when they meet you. Their hopes will start to rise.
From what they're anticipating, they're in for a big surprise.
They'll be floating lighter than a cloud.
They'll be floating, laughing right out loud.
The sight of you will send spirits flying.
One or two may burst out crying.
Why can't you believe? You're gonna be great.
But Ashbeak,
trust me, Zari, you're a dream come true. That our friends will think so too. You're the answer to so many prayers.
time will tell if I'll come through. But just imagine if I do.
They'll be dancing,
Prancing,
dancing on air. Okay, they
what
burst.
in the literal hell just happened?
They burst into song in front of you, and it's like you're watching a musical. And suddenly, you hear Mad Maggie's voice come echoing as if it were crackling like thunder from the crowds above. And she goes, "Ow! Ow! Ow! It's so horrible! It's awful! How can you all stand it?" And very shortly thereafter, it kind of freezes, and you notice Odelia drops down from where Zariel was, as though she were kind of sucked up into the role of Zariel. And she drops down into the clouds and kind of just shakes her heads. And you see that the entire time that this was going on, Odelia was the one who was kind of living the experience. What is her reaction?
What just did you guys see that? What just happened?
I don't know.
Well, now,
I've never
as you
seen
were the one
anything like
doing it, Halfling, I was hoping that you might be able to explain to us what just happened.
I don't really know. All of a sudden, I was just this misty-eyed, hope-filled, weak girl.
Well, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to write that song down when we get out of here. I'll have to hear that again, Odelia.
I didn't even know I could sing like that.
Okay, the voice of Mad Maggie comes crackling through the clouds again, and she says, "Oh, this is just awful. This isn't even true. This is a bunch of BS. It didn't even happen this way. The Phoenix is covering over its memories. You have to push past it. Go on, push. Will yourself on out of the dream. Will yourself to move forward."
I mean, is that meant to be Zariel? This angel lady?
Well,
I
that's
thought
what she
she
used
was
to look like.
The Countess of Hell.
She is. She's ascended to a much more glorious form. But this is more or less what she used to look like. Isn't it wonderful that she's moved past it?
I don't mind this place, Maggie. I must admit I don't mind it at all.
Do you want to break into song next?
Perhaps we should push on. Perhaps we should. It's been a strange enough day already.
I'm going to use Bastion of Mental Clarity to give us all a +4 to will to try and push on.
Okay. I will let you do that. It's actually not a will check. You need to make an insight check. You may, however, for this insight check, use half your level, and you may use either wisdom or charisma as your bonus.
Yeah,
Ooh. Okay.
I was scared for a minute, but I got plus half your level.
Half your level and either wisdom modifier or charisma modifier, and +5 if you're trained.
30.
Okay, very nice.
22.
Okay.
28.
So you all, he says, well, do you want to sing? She says, Mad Maggie says, do you want to sing next? And Odelia, what does it look like as she tries to mentally pull out since she rolled the natural 20?
I don't know what we're looking at. What do you mean?
What does Odelia look like trying to kind of push out of this dream? Does she lift her arms? Does she go, ugh? Like, what does she do to try to mentally?
It's a rage.
It's a perfect.
She shakes her head like a person trying to shake water out of their ears.
Okay.
She clicks her heels together 3 times.
That's awesome. So Odelia goes like this. She goes, bam. And as Odelia makes that first hit, the whole dream realm shakes. And she goes, bam, bam, bam. And when she hits it the 3rd time, it kind of shatters. And the rest of you find that you are able to just mentally push them away. And the scene shifts so fast that you are able to, it's almost like you blink and it's gone. And you find yourselves in a completely new location. You are somewhere back in Avernus in some kind of horrible ruin. And in the center of this scene, of this broken down ruin, destroyed buildings, back with the ash cloud sky again and falling meteors and red haze, you see that same angel, Zariel, and you also see Ashbeak, and they are lying on the floor in the center of this ruin, and they look like they've been very severely injured. Ashbeak has a broken wing, and most of its feathers are missing from one of its wings. And Ashbeak is also much larger in this form. You see, Ashbeak is not quite a medium creature, the size of one of you, but close to a medium creature. Zariel herself has a blindfold around her head, and it's covering her eyes, and one of her wings has been torn so severely that it doesn't look like she even has control over it, and she's crawling away from a group of really nasty looking devils. And you look at them, and what the devils look like, they look like humanoid shaped piles of slime that are filling up suits of armor. And they have a humanoid form, but as they walk, it's kind of like Mickey's mouth. There's like corrosive slime just dripping off all of them. And they are closing in on Zariel and Ashbeak, and they have weapons. They have, infernal iron weapons with flaming red runes, poised and ready to just end Zariel and Ashbeak. And they start closing in on her. And Anduriel, you become aware of someone standing next to you that wasn't there before. And as you look over, you see it is your vampire self. And he's standing right next to you. And his arms are folded, and he looks at you, and he says, "Don't you think this is a little ridiculous? Don't you think you should have found a way out of here by now? I mean, what are you doing with all these fools? I mean, why are you here? You've always been on your own. You were happy to be on your own, and now you're gallivanting off with some crazed lunatic halfling, some kind of prepubescent teenage bard, and a man who is literally undecided about whether or not he wants to be a pile of bugs or a half-elf.
Rude.
Do tell me, exactly what are you getting out of this?"
Well, now you are me. So it seems. You know exactly why I'm here. You know exactly what this is all about. And what are you doing here anyway? I thought we got rid of you.
Oh, no. You didn't get rid of me. I'm still inside you in some form or another. And deep down, don't you think that maybe you made the wrong decision giving me up? Giving up your power? It was a gift from your god, was it not? Do you so easily throw aside the fate that your own god has handed you?
Well, now you and I both know that it wasn't quite a gift from Naylock, was it? It was more of a, here, Anduriel, have this thing I'm going to shove down your throat. You and I both know that I made the only choice I could. I chose choice.
Oh, so you think that having a choice is the most important thing in your life. Is that it?
Now, don't be naive, vampire. What should I call you?
By the way,
Vampire me?
all of you are privy to this conversation that is happening right in front of you. Odelia, you've never seen this version of Anduriel. He looks a lot paler to begin with. He is wearing the same armor, looks a lot paler, and he, you recognize some pretty long fangs extending out of his mouth as he speaks. He's not even bothering to hide them.
Now, don't be my naive, vampire. I didn't walk away from power. I traded power, and you know this. I traded power. I'm still a powerful being to be reckoned with, and I happen to be committed to the fellowship for the time being.
But you're worried, aren't you? You're worried deep down that you made the wrong choice. You're worried about what your god's reaction to all this is going to be.
Of course I am. He's the god of vengeance. I'd be a fool not to be worried about that, wouldn't I?
Don't you think you ought to have consulted him? I know your mother showed up. What did you take her presence to mean? That you were to turn your back on everything he made you?
That I was to search for power wherever I could. That I was to, I don't know, become more than just some mindless tool for him to parade around like some sort of puppet. That my sacrifice to him would mean more if it was actually a choice that I made.
You know better than that. You know better than that. Your god forged a path for you that has allowed you to protect countless innocents. How many of the undead that you have slain would have gone on to kill dozens, hundreds more?
I don't know.
No, you don't. You didn't think it through. And deep down, I think you know you've disappointed him. Don't you think you've disappointed him? He loved you. Your mother would have killed you. He saved your life by placing this burden upon your shoulders.
Now hold on a minute. He did not save my life. There was another who saved my life. Oh, now you calm down, vampire. He did not save my life. There was
He
another.
pushes you.
I push back.
Okay. Okay. You
This
hear
is
Maggie's
ridiculous.
you hear
Fuck.
Maggie's voice echoing over. She goes, "Oh boy. Looks like somebody's insecurities have sneaked their way in. Well, you're just gonna have to kill him."
Excuse me, Maggie? One
You
more
heard
time?
me. You're gonna have to take him out. Run
Like a
over
wolf.
him like you're riding a hog. End him. We don't have time for this.
Well, now hold on. He is a formidable foe. If were we to engage in this battle, is there no other way?
Okay. Vampire Anduriel, as you pushed him back and you go shouting this up at the sky, he looks at you and he says, "I'm not going anywhere." And his fangs lengthen and he charges you. And my friends, it is in fact initiative.
This is gonna suck.
Oh
This
no!
guy.
I rolled a 1.
I did
let's see.
too.
Oh,
That's a
my.
6. A 6.
With my initiative bonus, which is somewhere on here. I don't remember where that goes.
23.
All right.
22.
Ooh, very nice, Odelia.
No, actually, every once in a while.
I hear music in the background.
Empty.
Jeff is sharing the music.
It's
Um,
initiative.
Okay, I hear combat music. I don't know if we're meant to, but I hear it.
Okay.
Okay. All
I
right.
got a 6 as well.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Alrighty. The ugly slimies get themselves a 23 also. We will call them slime devils for lack of a better term. And Vampire Anduriel gets himself a 15. All right. Anduriel, my friend, it is your turn first. What would you like to do? Vampire Anduriel, whom you just pushed back, is about 1 square away from you.
Well, I'm going to try and use Grasp of the Iron Tower on Vampire Me.
All right. Are you going to curse him first?
Oh yes. Place a Warlock's Curse on him.
Okay, what does that look like?
So, as he sees him coming, he's gonna just hold out his hand, and it'll start to glow a little bit, and say, "You will not succeed here, vampire. We are too great for you." And then you kind of see that it's kind of a muted glow, and it sort of flows over to Vampire Anduriel.
Okay. Alrighty, go ahead and make your attack roll.
This is versus Fortitude. That's a natural 20, friends.
Oh, is it now?
Whoa!
Okay. All right, let's back that bad boy up.
That is a natural 20, friends.
Oh my goodness, this may
Whoa!
be the very
This transformation.
maybe a very swift killing of our alter ego. 1d4, not 1d6, 1d4.
Oh, no, 1
GT.
die 6. This guy?
Yep. It's the number on the top.
I was hoping you'd say something different. It's a 1.
That's a 1. Okay. Well, you unfortunately it is not an auto kill. It is, however, a critical hit. So you do max damage and you roll your implement damage also, and then add your damage bonus and your warlock curse.
Okay. So the max, so it's 2 die 10. So it's 20 plus my charisma modifier, which is 4. That's 24.
Okay.
Just for the attack.
All right.
Dang.
And
Did you
then-
add your warlock damage bonus to that?
Nope. I have to roll that though, right?
Your warlock damage bonus? No, you have a damage bonus and a curse that you roll.
Right. So extra damage. That's +9 for those.
Okay, so 24 plus 9 is 33.
33.
Now you need to roll your implement damage.
Oh yeah. Oh goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Not bad.
Goodness gracious, grab balls of fire. This is gonna be a crazy day.
That's an extra 5.
Okay, so 38 points of damage to Vampire and Duriel.
Wow.
Okay. All right, so what does this look like, Anduriel?
So as he's running, right as he's about to leap, this iron hand comes out of the ground. It explodes out of the ground and grabs Vampire Anduriel and slams him back onto the ground. And you can kind of hear the like popping of bones and flesh just. And so yeah, if he moves and hit his face, I mean, I'm not him, but as I'm looking, his
but you
face
are.
is just like shocked that happened to him, and he now can he can't move closer to me until the end of my next turn, amongst all the yuckiness that just happened.
Okay, so this iron fist slams Vampire Anduriel into the ground, and he wheezes. You hear that bone crunching sound, and he looks up at you and he says, "Ugh!" from out there, and he says, as he pushes and strains against this iron claw that is pulling him down into the ground, he looks at you, Anduriel, and he says, "Figures you would use that filthy magic of the entity that you betrayed our lord with." And now it would be the Slime Devil's turn. As Anduriel crunches Vampire Anduriel into the ground, 3 of the slime demons look up from where they are, almost as though they are alerted by the attack he made, and they go charging towards Anduriel.
Uh-oh.
And Anduriel, they move, and they will use their Caustic Slam on you. So Anduriel, you will take 3 attacks from these bad boys. What is your fortitude, Anduriel?
19.
Okay, hit, and hit. Okay, all right, Anduriel, my friend, you take 3 very unpleasant hits here of acid damage. Ooh. Owie. All right. Ooh, that's ugly. Okay. My friend, you take 16 plus 7, so 23 points of acid damage you take 3 times. So that's
3
a total
times?
of 69 points of acid damage.
Ooh.
Regular Anduriel has fallen.
Okay. All right, regular Anduriel falls under a pile of acid. What they do is they come charging towards him, and they come in and they stab at Anduriel with these iron spears, and then the acid from their bodies washes all over, and it climbs down the spears, and it douses him in acid. And Anduriel drops. What are you down to, Anduriel? Negative what?
3.
All right, Anduriel's down to -3. And that is what they will do. And now one of them comes to Odelia, one of them comes to Lachlan, and one of them comes at Thora.
Uh-oh.
All right, Thora, does a 23 hit your, excuse me, does a 19 hit your fortitude?
Yes.
They got you. Thora, my friend, you take, this isn't so bad. You take 11 points of acid damage, Thora.
Okay.
Well, he's the one that wants to die.
Odelia, does a 26 hit your fortitude?
Yes, it does.
Odelia, you take 18 points of acid damage. And friend Lachlan, does a 22 hit your fortitude?
Yep.
You, my friend, take 5 plus 7. You take 12 points of acid damage as these slime devils all come up and strike at you with iron spears that spew acid. And now it would be Odelia's turn.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is run to Lachlan and cast Healing Word.
You don't have to. You're gonna heal Lachlan and not Anduriel.
Oh, sorry, Anduriel. So
that's fine. I knew she had a soft spot.
Sorry, I haven't done Sorry, I mean, I haven't dealt with people dying in 4E. If I heal him, does he come back?
Yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, he'll be on the floor, but he'll be fine.
Fine is relative here.
For my minor action, I will cast Healing Word, and you can spend a Healing Surge and regain 1d6 additional.
Rye, isn't it 2d6 for our level, or no?
Yeah, at level 7 it goes up.
Oh,
okay.
At level 6 it goes to 2d6.
Okay, so Odelia, you roll that 2d6 that he adds to the surge.
That's 6.
Okay, so Anduriel, you spend a surge plus 6. What is her healing? And Healing Word is a close burst 5. You're easily able to reach him. What does her healing spell look like?
She kneels down close to him. Because she's close enough, she will get close enough to lay her hands on him, and just a gentle wave come over him, and then it just dissipates. So he's not even left wet or anything. It's just like this surge of heat breaks over him.
Okay, so a gentle wave falls over him, and Anduriel, you are healed. Anduriel, you come awake, and you get the faint feeling of a wave kind of covering you, but it doesn't soak you. It's like relaxing or pleasant.
So that was my minor action. Can you hear me better now if I get a little closer?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So for my standard action, I am going to turn like I'm shielding Anduriel, and I am going to cast Granite Shield.
Okay.
And this brings up, it's an aura 2. So I think that, does that mean that it's like a burst 2? Or how does that work? I haven't done this one before.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Granite Shield. Okay. So it is an attack that you make. Are you going to attack the slime devil that is adjacent to you?
Yeah, so the closest one, and then and then it creates an aura that protects everyone, all of my allies.
Okay.
So first I attack the nearest slime devil, and that natural 20.
Ooh, very nice. Back it up. Roll to confirm.
I just roll a d20 again.
Yep, same attack. Oh, roll the 1d6.
With the modifier?
There's no modifier. You just roll the 1d6.
Do I add the modifier? Okay.
No, you just
1d6.
roll the 1d6. If you get a 6, you auto kill.
4.
Oh, well, close enough. You still get a critical hit, which is max your weapon damage maxed.
Oh, what? Okay, so if it's 1d8 plus 2, that means 10.
So yeah, so you automatically do 8 points of or 10 points of harpoon damage. Did you add your damage bonus for your cleric attacks?
I don't know what that is.
You have a damage bonus on your character sheet. Are you using the? You're using the one that was made from the character generator. So the damage bonus is it should be the same on all your clerical attacks.
So I have it just. It says 1d8 plus 2 damage.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay, and then I think, do weapons, Ryan, also have implement damage, like for when you hit a critical?
Yeah.
Okay, so look at your weapon, Tommy, and tell us what the critical bonus is for it.
None.
It has no crit bonus on it?
It says none, yeah.
Well, that's kind of horrible weapon have we given you?
Right? But I do push my target 3 squares as well.
Okay. All right, so you slam into this little slime devil, doing a ton of damage, and you knock him back 3 squares away from you. Now, you still have a movement, Odelia, to do anything if you'd like to move somewhere.
No, I want to stay right in the thick of the group because if you stay in my aura, you have a +5 resistance to all damage.
Okay. All right, Odelia is now shedding off a magical holy shield that is preventing the rest of you from being injured. Okay, and now it would be Vampire and Duriel's turn, but I think we'll stop right here because we are finished for the evening. So, Jeffrey, can you kill that music, please? It's we can't hear each other. Thank you very much. That was a special musical moment, and we are finished. So, thank you to those of us. Oh, Maple H rated us with a party of 5. Thank you for rating, Lou. We love you. I mean, I'm sure this will result in good karma for Lavender. Of some kind, certainly better than Ryan's karma. I dropped him off a
Lulu.
very high location. So we like to finish our stream off with a positive thought, and the turn has come back to me as we start over again to be able to share a positive thought to finish off our stream. We call it Consider This. So if you want to tune in for it, you're more than welcome to listen. If it's not your cup of tea, you don't want to hear us talk about inspirational stuff or religious stuff, you're welcome to check out. We are not offended whatsoever. But our whole world is in the grip of a crisis now. And it's interesting because I've actually never been able to say that before. We've had different things strike different countries. We've had illnesses strike different countries. We've had tornadoes. We've had horrible hurricanes devastate different areas of our country here in the US and also other places, the wildfires in Australia. But it's very rare, and we've never actually been able to say before that we are facing a global crisis like this. And it is, in a lot of ways, it's very scary. The future is uncertain. And I started thinking back to World War II, to the generation that fought World War II. They, in the United States at least, they're called the greatest generation for the sacrifices that they did. And I started thinking about what we went through. I interviewed my grandfather, who was a supply pilot in the Army back in World War II. And he flew combat missions and delivery missions over the skies of France. And my grandfather's plane was shot down by Nazis. And he had to, with a broken arm and a broken clavicle, he had to carry one of his fellow pilots with him across French occupied territory in order to get to safety, get to places that were protected by the Allies or under Allied control. And I remember when I interviewed him and talked to him about this, I asked him what things were like at home when he got home. And he said he remembered terrible shortages. People couldn't get butter. They couldn't get cooking oil. They, flour, things were always, in short supply. And it was very scary. And I asked his girlfriend at the time. My grandpa was a bit of a ladies' man. He was a bit of a Lachlan. I asked his lady friend at the time what she remembered, and she said she remembered everything being saved, scrap metal being saved, rubber, from tires being collected, and everything, and people chipping in to do their part. And so my thought for tonight is this: we are facing a global crisis. But I think in a lot of ways, World War II was a global crisis. It did end up wrapping all of our nations up. And just like my grandfather, who performed a heroic act when he, with broken limbs, carried one of his fellow pilots back into Allied territory, just like him, there are people all over this world who are doing noble and wonderful things, and we can choose to be those people. I'm grateful that I've not been put into that position, but our world has faced darkness before, and people have risen to the occasion. And I know that people are already doing that now, and I know we can be those people too. I have faith in that. We are not alone. We're not alone because we have each other, and we're not alone because we have God. And that is my consider this. So, thoughts?
Very well
Thank you.
said.
Yeah.
It is. I have really noticed how amazing it is to be alive in a time where everyone is worried about the same thing. Everyone is experiencing a similar crisis like this, and just how much it unites all of us to give the best of ourselves to each other.
And don't forget about the little guy, the person who's living on their own down the street, who's immunocompromised, or the old man who lives down the road who can't get out on his own. And you don't have to give a lot. You don't have to give anything, but be there for somebody who needs you. You don't have to do it monetarily. You don't have to do it with food. You don't even have to do it with toilet paper, because God knows you can't find it anywhere. But just check in on your neighbor. You don't have to like walk into their house. Just knock on the door and be like, hey, how are you guys doing? Are you guys okay?
Or Zoom them, or call them, or
Yeah.
you know, or whatnot. Yeah. It's interesting. Any other thoughts to add to that?
Follow the guidelines that they tell you to follow. Ohio, I live in Ohio. Governor DeWine literally just set a 2-week do not leave your house unless you work situation, unless you are an essential job or you're going to the grocery store. So like, if you get a notification like that, just follow the rules, because they're there to keep you safe. It's not about big daddy government coming in and telling you no. It's about trying to stop the spread in a way that we can manage.
Anyone else have thoughts?
The counselor at my school said something similar to what John just said, that we're actually serving our fellow man and woman by practicing social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a way to show some compassion and helpfulness that is there. But I'm a school principal, and whenever there's a big change, I inevitably will have a small handful of people that are distraught and perhaps a little negative with some complaints or concerns. I have had not a single parent has said anything negative. And not only that, but I've received more positive feedback in the last 2 weeks from parents than in the last 6 years I've been at the school.
That's huge.
And so I think it is, it's just overwhelming at the real power of the human spirit. And one of the other things I noticed in my own home is that my kids have been stuck together. I got 6 kids. They've been stuck together all week long. And so this last weekend, I was a bit concerned. I thought they're going to be so sick of each other that we're going to have some contention at home. There was less contention in my home this weekend than I can remember. And that was with the boys playing Legos, which almost always turns into a little bit of a tiff. Not a single problem there. And so I think that close proximity with the people you love, taking care of the people you love, and there's a I don't know, a softening, I guess, if you will, of towards where I see people being so positive. And yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of criticism and negativity out there too, and pessimism. But overall, I've only seen I've only seen those good things, and it reminds me so much of other crises that have happened and how they have a tendency to bring people together. I just hope we don't lose that when this crisis is over.
Yeah.
Let's keep the love.
I
Good
do have one more thing that my dad just texted me, because for some reason he's up and it's 1 a.m. But I don't know why he's up. Call your extroverted friends, because they're losing their mind right now. They can't socialize. Call your extroverted friends. Talk to them for a little bit of time. We're all introverts because we're on Twitch.
Yeah. That's a very good point. Other thoughts? Okay.
I echo everything everybody said. This is a really strange time we're in right now, but I look for the inspirational stories. The inspirational story of your grandpa, that's something that I don't know I could have ever done, but what I can do is my part right now, my small part, right? And so I just posted on Facebook. There was a 72-year-old priest who gave his respirator to a parishioner that a parishioner purchased for him. He gave that to a younger patient who he had no idea who they were. He's just died from the coronavirus. That that kind of puts into sharp relief for me. I'm not really sacrificing much sitting here with my friends on Wi-Fi, with my family in the house. I've got a full fridge. I can work from home. So my sacrifice is really small, but it can make a big difference. So we can all make a big difference by doing these small things, and I think it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And we will get through this. And even if it gets worse, and we know it's going to get worse before it gets better, we will make it through, and we will be able to get through this. And you will be able to get through it too, I promise. Come hell or high water, or tags, whatever.
Or Avernus.
Yeah, or Avernus, one of the two. And that's it. And thank you very much for joining us. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.